Hey everybody, welcome to the show. We have Thalia with us today from Marry Me today.
Yes.
Marry Me is happening right now.
Yes.
Right, not the CCSPCA, which is equally important.
Yes.
But today's Marry Me.
Yes,
Awesome.
that's correct. Hi,
Welcome
how are
back.
you? Thank you for having me again. I appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing that you're a wedding officiant with me.
I know, it's another passion of mine. So I love animals, and my dog's in the studio today hanging out. But this is something else that I just found a calling for, which is basically to share people's love stories. I really, really enjoy that.
Which is, I mean, weddings are great, right? Everybody, like, you know, the happiness that happens around, there's a lot of joy. You know, people tend to forget about weird stuff that may be happening in their lives. You know, it's just a general good time. So in the line of work, or rather, you know, kind of a public service kind of work, which seems to go hand in hand with the other things that you do, a wedding officiant, to me, you know, growing up, the things that you see in film and things like that, typically ends, you know, it's the thought of, you know, the Catholic church or the beach, you know, with the gazebo, that kind of thing, and typically someone who's like, you know, maybe ordained by some sort of faith-based situation. But I'm understanding this differently now. How does the wedding officiant situation work? Or there's different aspects to this, I'm sure. And is there a governing body that happens in there too? Like, how does that work?
So technically, anybody can be a wedding officiant. You just have to be over 18 and register online with like American Marriage Ministries or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, to be a good wedding officiant, a professional wedding officiant, you want to make sure that you're a good public speaker and you're somebody who has good processes in place to better serve the couples, which is something that I've established throughout the years. So I've been doing this since 2012. The public speaking actually comes from the shelter, from working there and doing presentations about animals. And writing love stories comes from my English background, graduating at Fresno State as an English major. So my background actually just kind of came together to be just a really good wedding officiant. And so most of the time people have this idea that to get married, you either go to the county clerk's office or you get married like at a church with like a pastor or a priest or something like that, or a minister. I consider myself a civil minister, so my job is more to fulfill like a civil function. Like it's like a legal process basically. And of course, if the couple wants to include like religious aspects to their ceremony, certainly I am not opposed to anything like that. I like to work with them and I love to give them ideas about like what elements they can include that are like traditional, that are faith-based, if that's the way they want to go.
So awesome. So whether, you know, you're going with amen or mazel tov or none of the above, these are things that you can incorporate.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So usually the first thing that happens after I figured out that I have their date available is we do consultation in my house. We meet for about an hour and a half, and I'm going to go over like the requirements to get married, everything to do with their ceremony from beginning to end, who's going to participate, what elements we want to include. And then the third part is learning about them. So it's like a way for me to be able to write that love story. So I ask questions about their background, if they have children, when they started living together, if that's the case, all those the big steps and milestones throughout their relationship.
That's awesome. So in doing so, you make it very personal.
Exactly, yes.
So you're creating a narrative, it's very personal,
Exactly.
you know, making sure all the love's present, great memories, feel good stuff.
Yes, yes.
And,
I want to feel like I connect with the couple, so I want to get to know them ahead of time. That way it feels very like authentic and genuine, the speech that I write for them.
So the services that Marry Me offers is, it spans the whole thing.
Yes.
Does Marry Me also offer, do you have connections with like different venues? Do you work in churches and outdoor places? Like how does someone go, like, do they have a wedding planner and then you're involved too? Like how does that all work?
Yeah, so well, I do different kind of budgeted weddings. Sometimes they're, you know, low end, sometimes they're high end, and they have all these like wedding planners or wedding coordinators. Usually, typically what's recommended is that you get your venue first, and then you want to find the person that's going to marry you. And then after that, everything else falls in place, like your DJ, your cake, you know, coordinator, whatever afterwards. But those two things are very important, where you're going to get married and who's going to marry you. And then everything else is pretty simple. You'll get that into place.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So do you provide a crazy uncle as well?
The crazy uncle.
gotta be
No,
one, right?
they'll bring their own.
That's everybody's got one.
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah.
You got one?
Yes. And so sometimes we might need like some disclaimers about, in the beginning of the ceremony. Like we want to make sure that our phones are on silent, that we're not like stepping into the aisle like with our phones, trying to get like pictures and video, because usually there's professionals that are already gathering that for the couple.
Right.
But the aunts and uncles and family members get really excited and they want to be all in the aisle, getting every picture.
Yeah.
And it seems like a great idea, but it does hinder a little bit of what the professionals are doing, such as the videographer and photographers. So, but that's interesting that you brought that up, because that's what that reminded me of. Yeah.
Right. It went from disposable cameras to having, a phone, which, is a camera in your pocket too. So lots of snapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is about as much fun as it is at a concert. Everybody, put it down. Be in the moment. So what are the steps that a couple watching right now would take?
Yes.
Upon calling you and you would take them through the process, how does that go?
Yeah, so usually I say it's like 5 steps to complete their wedding process legally. First is you find your officiant, the person that's going to marry you, or, which would be me, marry me. The next step is to go pick up your marriage license. This is a permit to get married. Both of the partners need to go with their IDs to the county clerk's office. This document is valid for 90 days. So you go and pick this up. Usually couples tend to go like a week or 2 weeks ahead of time of the ceremony. And then they're going to ask you some basic information. They just want to know your full names, your parents, where they're from, if you've been married in the past, and that you're divorced already if you were married in the past. And then they give you a document, and that's the paper that me and the witnesses are going to sign the day of the ceremony.
Right.
And then so that's the part 2. Then part 3 is that paper gets signed the day of ceremony. Part 4 is to take it in and get registered. So I'll take it in and register it. And then the last part is for the couple to go and pick up their official marriage certificate. And they'll get that at the Hall of Records usually.
Awesome. So that whole process is actually going to be at the bottom in graphics for everybody to see, so that, when maybe they can do a little bit of education themselves, so when they talk to you, you're like the happy step.
Yes. Yeah. We already got over, like, the legal stuff is already taken care of. You already know what you need to do. So now let's get into everything that has to do with your ceremony and building and customizing that part. Nice.
Is there a favorite venue that you have that you've married people at?
I don't want to have favoritism. There's so many beautiful places. Actually, I love the region that we're in, the Central Valley, because, as we all know, it's so easy to go up to the mountains and do a wedding there, go to the coast. Like, we're so central that it doesn't take much effort, other than the drive to get there. Like, it's not too lengthy. So there's just great places, whether you want to get married in the mountains, in the beach, if you want to do it at your house, that's very common. And then if you want to do it at a venue, there's so many beautiful places. I have a long list of venues that I've done weddings at. So pretty much whatever you choose, it's great. We will make a great ceremony there.
That's awesome. I don't get to spend a lot of time thinking about weddings. It's not something that's always on the brain.
Yeah.
But to be able to talk about it quite a bit feels really, really good.
Yes.
It's like I start kind of drawing on those memories of like, oh, there was that one wedding, or oh, I was in that one. I'm like, gosh, I like those. They should happen more often. But in your life, they do happen all the time.
Every weekend.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So thank you, Thalia, for coming on the show.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to, let people know other than, we'll have the website on the screen, everybody, and a phone number so you can reach Thalia and she can take you through the steps. And if you're feeling the love, Thalia's the woman to talk to.
Yes, definitely. Just follow me on social media. I'm very active. I post regularly to try to give some wedding inspiration and tips to my couples.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Thalia, for being back on. Everyone else, stay tuned. We've got more for you after the break.